Today I would like to briefly go over what we are doing in the Hanauma Bay Biological Carrying Capacity Study, why we are doing it, and what we would like to investigate in future years. We have been working on compiling all historical published and unpublished information sources, providing information about Hanauma Bay into a single annotated bibliography. Along with the annotated bibliography, we are collecting all historical data sets available. Compiling all literature and data sets studying Hanauma Bay into one central location provides information for managers, researchers, and the public on what studies have been performed in Hanauma Bay and what areas need further investigation. In year one of the carrying capacity study, we set up two sets of 30-day studies referred to as the Direct Human Impact Monitoring Studies. One study was performed in June 2018 during the high swell season, with the second set of 30 days occurring over October during a low swell season. These studies were designed to provide information on the current state of resources within Hanauma Bay in relation to visitor counts. To do this, we had to further investigate visitor counts, coral cover, coral trampling, and suspended sediments. In addition to our direct human impact monitoring field studies, we continue to perform the yearly Coral Reef Assessment and Monitoring Program, or CRAMP, sites, and we are also continuously monitoring temperature with the use of data loggers. The first goal of the Direct Human Impact Monitoring Study was to visually and photographically document spatial activity patterns of human use within Hanauma Bay, allowing us to identify high versus low use areas. This data will help us to identify which factors are most influential in the growth and survival of reef assemblages, and how the frequency of human interaction impacts these assemblages. During the Direct Human Impact Monitoring Study, we are also performing a coral trampling experiment, placing over 60 coral skeletons in different areas of the reef and monitoring their breakage using top-down photographs. We will be able to determine the percent loss of skeleton and correlate it with our human use counts documenting human spatial and activity patterns. This experiment will allow us to see how much of the coral assemblages within Hanauma Bay are influenced by direct human trampling. At the same time, we are documenting the effects of suspended sediment in the water column. We placed traps along the reef to collect the depositing sediment that was once suspended in the water column and paired these with visual water clarity surveys using a Secchi disc. The Secchi disc surveys, as you can see in the bottom picture, look at suspended particulates in the water column. We will now take the data from these experiments and determine the amount and the origin of sediment that is being deposited onto the reef flat and resuspended, as well as determine the influence of human interaction and natural wave action with the amount of suspended sediments in the water column. In addition to the direct human impact monitoring studies, the coral reef assessment and monitoring sites at depths of 10 feet and 30 feet will be conducted annually. Data collected will be compared to prior annual surveys dating back to 1999 to document changes in the biological populations of the Hanauma Bay reef environment and to other sites throughout the state. We are currently working on our permit application for year 2 with the Office of Conservation in Coastal Lands and the Division of Aquatic Resources. We will be placing exclusion cages on the reef flat and outer reef environment to determine the influence that humans and herbivores have on the coral and algae populations. We will be marking long-term monitoring transects within the inner reef flat. These transects were established during the 2014-2015 coral bleaching event and have been continuously monitored. It would also be advantageous to install an underwater camera showing a live feed of activity on the reef flat of Hanauma Bay Marine Life Conservation District. A full report of the results obtained in Year 1 of the Hanauma Bay Biological Carrying Capacity Study will be submitted by the end of summer 2019. Thank you for taking the time to hear about our progress and plans for the Hanauma Bay Biological Carrying Capacity Study. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us.